Hey, James again. So we have been covering about how to close sales. Today we are going to focus on a close that we call hot button close. Hot button close. So this close applies to those people maybe are selling the product that everybody wants. What are these products? Real estate and cars. Maybe the utensils for ladies, utensils, clothes. Let me tell you, everybody needs to upgrade his wardrobe. Everybody wants to upgrade his status. Actually, this is a status business because I want to upgrade my status. Clothes. Status means you want to change how the other person thinks about you when they sees you. You know, if you have an iPhone, whichever they make, and you go in a place where people have Androids, they will know that you're a person of status. If you go to a person where all people are owning Toyotas, and you pull out in a Range Rover, you pull out in a Mercedes, you pull out in a Ferrari, you pull out in a very rare kind of car, you have built status. You know, so when you are selling something that people want to upgrade their status, let's say it's someone who has come to your car yard and they want a car. They want this car that nobody has. They want a very rare type of masterpiece. You have to master this hot button close. Let's say you are selling real estate and you have found this house and someone or a couple is very much interested. You have to use this hot button close. How do you use this hot button close? So when you are showing the customer, when you are maybe trying to impress the customer, when the customer is asking question, you need to ask this question. You have to listen to his voice well. So ask this customer, what have you been looking for? What are you looking for? Why are you here today? What did you have in mind? You know, the customer is going to tell you, no, I want a car with a sunroof. I want a car that does this and that. I want a car that nobody has. I want a real estate that has. I want this. It's a person who's buying a family that's buying a house. I want a home with air condition. You know, I want a home with a pool. I want a home with a backyard, and you identify that hot button. This hot button is not you that you're going to suggest. The customer is always going to suggest for you the hot button. What does a customer want? A customer wants a car with a sunroof. You know, a customer wants a car with 4-wheel drive. You know, a customer wants a Germany machine. You know, a customer wants a house with maybe lightings, chandeliers. He wants a wooden floor. The customer is going to say, oh, I've been looking for this wooden floor for all my life. You know, my friend slide on a tiles and he broke his leg. That's the hot button that you're looking for. You know, the customer tell you, I want a car with a sunroof. And if you have that rare masterpiece, that car the customer wants, and the only thing that he's much interested in is a sunroof, that is where you do your closing on. So the customer is always looking for a reason not to buy from you. You know, it's good to tell, you know, let's say you're selling a car. You know, the car has a sunroof, yes, but it doesn't have a 4-wheel, it doesn't have this thing, it doesn't have a thing, but remind him, but it has a sunroof. So you have to keep on hitting the nail where it matters. You know, I want this house, it has a wooden floor, but the walls are fading out. The walls are not okay. Tell him, but remember, the house has a wooden floor. You know, the customer tells you, I wanted a house with a backyard where I can grow my vegetables, my veggies. So the customer will always complain, oh, the lights are not okay, the kitchen lights are blinking, but remind him, but you have the backyard that you're telling me about. If the customer tells you, oh, the doors are not okay, the hinges have come out, remind him, but the house has a backyard, the kitchen has some broken wood, some broken things. Remind him again. So what I mean is, make sure you know the customer, what he has been looking for. I have a friend who was selling a house. The house was not very much okay. He had not renovated it very much. So the house was cheap and it was affordable for maybe a couple that was starting. We call it a starter home. So one thing the customer wanted, the wife wanted, is the backyard. She was a very young lady in her 20s, but she wanted a house with a backyard because she grew up in houses where there was nothing to do with backyard. She lived in a real estate where they were congested, where there were apartments with no backyard, with no wet or no garden to grow some veggies. So when this guy was talking to this couple, the lady's temperature, the lady's excitement got very high when she felt that the house has a backyard and somewhere she can grow her veggies. So she said, oh, my let's say the husband is called Eric. Eric, look, the house has a backyard where I'm going to grow my veggies. I always wanted a house in my lifetime where I can grow my veggies. My mom, when she comes, is going to love it. My friends are going to love it. But remember, the house was not in order. So the real estate guy, the real estate agent, used that hot button to close this customer down. The husband never wanted the house. The floor was not okay. They had some loopholes. They had some holes. The doors had some hinges that needed glaze. The kitchen was not okay. The lights were not okay. But anytime a rejection came, he used to refer to that yard, the backyard, the place, the farmyard. So the guy used to say, the doors are not okay. The lights are freaking too much. We need to change the floor. But this guy, the real estate guy, he used to remind this couple that, yes, the doors are not okay, but the compound has a backyard farm where you can do your farming. The guy says he goes to the rooms, the walls are not okay, but remember, this house has a farm at the backyard. So at the end of the day, the customer took the house because he pressed on the hot buttons. If a couple is looking for a house with a swimming pool, even if the house is not yet completely done, let me tell you one thing: if you start confusing, you start lowering, the customer tells you, the walls are not properly done, and you start saying, oh, we are going to rectify on that, oh, sorry for that. That is why you lose that customer. Oh, the customer says the floor is not okay, and you say, oh, I'm very sorry for that, but you're going to. That's how you lose the selling temperature. That's how you create more butterflies. If you take everything the customer says and you swallow it, and you want to lower your position to their position, because I told you the customer is looking for one reason not to buy from you. If you says, I'm sorry for that, we are going to rectify, you're not going to make a sale. If you give a customer 5 good reasons not to buy from you, he's not going to buy from you. So if a customer says the lights are not okay, that's one. If you calm down, if you lower the temperature, you are going to increase the resistance from the person. You increase the resistance from the person to sell. I told you, when someone is getting money out of their pocket, it's always a fight in the market, in the mind. So if you give a reason that person not to get the money from his head, he's not going to buy from you. So always when you are doing your cruising, always when you're talking to a person, maybe when you're illustrating, when you're doing demonstration, make sure you get one thing the customer want and put pressure on that. We call this the hot button close. So identify one thing that the customer wants, and anytime he has a rejection, he has a reason not to buy from you, make sure you push this button now and then, and it's going to work for you. Do it. Practice makes perfection. Use it and it's going to work for you. I'm out.